Have you ever had two friends, acquaintances, sometimes family members, even co-workers, that they somehow fall out with each other, and because you were there or because you just happened to be standing with one of them, you ended up getting involved, and so now they are mad with you because you were there when it happened and you didn't have anything to do with it. Many times you didn't even know it was going to take place, but now you find yourself caught up in between. How do you deal with that type of situation? Because, many a times we maybe care about both of the people that were involved in the fallout. And so a lot of times you might not say anything because you're like, I don't want to make this person feel bad. I don't want to make that person feel bad. And even sometimes you can see where both of them is kind of wrong and both of them is sort of right. And you could see it from both sides. But sometimes it's a little hard to be able to say it because you don't want to make the people feel bad on both sides. How do you deal with that type of situation? Well, unfortunately, you're going to have to figure it out. One of the first things that you could try to do is try to stay neutral. Try to not be a part. Just say, you know what, I care about both of you. Y'all to, work it out. Because sometimes it may just take a couple of days. Sometimes people be upset and you got to get them time to, come out of their feelings and to acknowledge that, hey, it was just a misunderstanding. What happens when that doesn't happen and they're not coming together and it's just getting worse? And then now they're trying to pull you into it. Then now you're going to have to set boundaries. If you care for both of them, you may have to sit each one down individually and let them know that I care about you. This other person, is still my friend, or maybe that's a loved one, or maybe it's a spouse, or it can be even in a family situation where it's a blended family, type of situation. And you kind of have to let them know that I want both of you to be in my life and I care about both of you. This is what you're going through. I understand, but I also want you to remain neutral. I'm hoping that you all will, come to eventually be able to work out your different. But if not, then when I'm with you, I'm not going to discuss the other person or what happened, only because I don't want to be involved. So you have to set that boundary with each one of them. You have hold them accountable to that because they may try to start defending their position with you person, or in some cases they may try to get out of you what the other person is feeling or what the other person is saying. And so you don't need to be involved in that, because what will sometimes happen is those two will get back together and then now you are on the outside because you went back and told the other person what was said, how they, talked about them. And then what happened is those two will get back together and then you will be without friends, or you would be out with your loved one or with a family member or with a coworker. You may have to, especially when it's something that may have to deal with a spouse, you might have to let go of one of those friendships. You may have to let go of that other relationship, because if it's a spouse and they're really adamant, it can then affect your relationship with your spouse. So you may have to let the other person go. And you may want to acknowledge that, hey, this is my husband, this is my wife, and because they're uncomfortable with our relationship, because you and that person is not getting along, I'm now going to have to, I'm not going to be able to be as close as we were before because of the falling out. Because you're allowing that person to know that it's nothing that you've done to me personally because of the situation now. I'm now going to have to, and if all else fail, then because they're not able to mend the relationship, then you now have to sever that relationship. And this is